Hey guys, I am back and we are going to be looking at the Survival Box Knife of the Month. Normally I do this with the Survival Box, but that video it got away from me as I was doing a little commenting and teaching about the NBC stuff in the box. So I said we're going to do the knife separately. So we're doing the knife separately. And we have... Oh, look at that. Look at that. We already have a damaged, messed up sheath. All right, but it says always prep. We know from the video last time, if you've seen it, or if you haven't, I'll tell you now. It's a fixed blade karambit in, and I'm going to put this in quotes, Damascus steel, because somehow all of their knives of the month are Damascus that we've seen so far. And they all say handmade and this and that. And I am going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say this, and I could be dead wrong. These all seem to have they all seem to be the quality that you would find in a Pakistani or similar made kind of, you find it on Amazon for about 20 bucks knife. Now I'm just going to put it out there. That's my evaluation and opinion, and if I can be proven wrong, then I will eat those words. But that is my general sense of what I take away from these Survival Box Knives of the Month. Now, they say they're all handmade. I have serious doubts that this Damascus, or should I rather say pattern welded steel billet, has been hand forged by a master smith somewhere, and then by hand shaped and ground and all that stuff. I've said this before in a number of videos. Actual Damascus. Whoa, let me back up. So when we talk about Damascus steel, what most people just talk about, Damascus as used in common usage, is when we talk about pattern welded steel, where you take dissimilar types of steel, forge weld them together, and fold and forge and cut and relayer. Anyway, you relayer them, and then as you grind and then do a wash in an acid, you get these patterns. Some people reserve the title of Damascus only for what we would also known as Wootz steel, which we do not, has not. Some people say that they've rediscovered the secret to making it. Others will say that we still have lost the secret to making Wootz steel thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. I don't know. Some people will argue that the only true Damascus is made by hand, but if we're talking about just pattern welded steel, they can do this production-wise. They can make this on a production line. And it's not the same quality as one that is made by hand, but it can be done. And a lot of these cheaper Damascus knives, it's real pattern welded dissimilar steels, but it's done on a production line out of who knows what kind of metal. You know what I mean? So when we talk about Damascus, it's it opens up a lot to interpretation. But here's the knife. Now that we argued all of that away, and now Damascus can be faked also with laser etching. But when it's laser etched, you can really feel very, very. I mean, when they do that, it's ridiculous feeling. I mean, so you should feel a little bit of pattern when you run your finger along it. But when it's laser etched, it feels like it's almost like braille, with the raised. And this does not have that feel, like the very clearly raised and depressed areas. It does feel like a legit pattern with just some areas just slightly, it does. The acid has eaten into a little bit in some areas and whatever. But so wood handle, they always have the same. I can't think of it now. I always space out on this. The pin, mosaic pin. Always the same mosaic pin. Like the factory just has a million meters of that to use. Of course, it is full tang. So, now we talk about the karambit. It is based on an agricultural utility knife blade way back hundreds of years ago. However, the shape of the modern karambit is very different from the original karambit shape. It has taken a much more curved shape because the modern karambit is not a utility knife. The modern karambit is a fighting knife. It is a weapon knife. The original, and if you look it up if you don't believe me, that's fine. The original karambit shape was a much less pronounced curve because it was used in the fields for agriculture, but it was also a daily utility knife that people used. And this is not an efficient utility shape blade. You can't get this against any kind of surface and do any kind of cutting. So I have said all the time, if you are trained in the fighting techniques that use a karambit blade, a karambit is great for its purpose. If you are not trained in how to use a karambit properly, you're better off not even carrying it. I am not. I have no training in Kali or anything else. So for me, a karambit is almost a useless knife. I mean, sure, there are some things you can do with it, but a karambit for somebody not trained properly on how to use this is not a practical knife to carry around at all. Some people like them because they look cool, whatever. I would never carry a karambit around. I just wouldn't. This one, I don't know, it's not entirely uncomfortable. I like the width of the handle. In the reverse grip that you normally would hold a karambit in, when my finger in the ring, it is not comfortable for me. It's more comfortable holding it with my hand wrapped just around the handle and not in the ring. But that's the whole thing about the karambit, because there are moves you can do. I don't know them. I've seen them on TV. And I did not stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I couldn't tell you about it. But we do have the nice sharp butt end, which is also used in techniques that I do not know how to do, but I've seen them on TV. And so you do get a nice grip on it, but I just have serious doubts about the quality of this knife. And because traditional, any kind of Damascus blade is usually a stainless type and mixed with a carbon, it does come covered in oil to protect that carbon. So let's see. These knives never come sharpened very well. There is a dead spot sort of in the middle there. This is not, there's just it's not done very well. See, now it's starting. There's a dead spot somewhere in the middle of the blade. Where's it towards the end? I don't know. It really needs refining. Yeah, I feel right around there. There's an odd. Right around there, something odd. That's nice. Right back there. And it's not uncommon for a lot of blade shapes to get better sharpening towards the rear, towards the ricasso area, or I should say back towards the ricasso, not the ricasso area. That's stupid to say, but anyway, it's not something that I would carry. Now I know that there are a lot of people who enjoy fixed blades, and there are a lot of people who just like the look of a karambit, so they would carry it. I would be thinking in survival box, I would expect them to put much more utility-oriented survival knives. You know what I mean? Like this is, I don't know. I don't know where they source their stuff from, but I guarantee if you went searching on Amazon, you could find something, if not the exact same knife, or something remarkably similar for a very cheap price. This is just, I would not be interested in this, but you know, Jason, being the awesome subscriber and Patreon member that he is, he buys the survival box, and he, even though I have said, dude, I appreciate you sending this stuff over for us to look at, but this is like, you know, you're throwing money away, kind of. He still subscribes to this, and so we get to see it. So because he's awesome. Let's just try a 550 test real quick. Let's see what we got. Let's see what it does. That was actually really good, but you know what? I could feel it sliced right at the back. Let's see if a cut up near the front gives us the same results. Not bad. Okay, not bad. I did avoid that weird area in the middle, but you could see, I mean, if you look at the difference in the cut between the back, the rear of the blade and the front of the blade, rear of the blade, front of the blade, you can see how much cleaner the cut was at the rear. I'm not looking forward to doing this pull through, but I've got to do it. All right, I'm gonna try to get it mid blade so we can, okay. Oh yeah, that's not, that does not want to go. Let's do it near the rear. Yes, the rear goes straight through. Goes straight through the rear. There's a bad area right in the middle there. Now, could it be fixed? Sure. Yeah, you can rehone this and do well with it. But the point is, you shouldn't have to. It's a brand new knife right out of the package. You should be able to take this out of the bag, out of the sheath, and go and do what you got to do. That's my point. And a lot of people are like, oh, big deal, sharpen it. But that's not your job. Your job is to use the knife that you just paid money for. It is the factory's job to provide you with a usable tool out of the package. You're paying for that. Anyway, sheath is cheap leather. I mean, I suspect it is real leather, but as you can see, it's, you know, it's falling apart. It is nice rigid leather though. Not a big fan of the sheath. And it's, oh, yeah, right, okay. Yeah, no, sheath is bullshit. But this is when you buy, this is what you get when you buy a cheap knife. You know, when you buy something that looks, and there are tons of people out there that will say, that looks fancy, or will just see the word Damascus and assume that means quality. But it doesn't. You really got to look at what you're buying, especially when something is advertised as Damascus. So anyway, I'm not giving this a full rating, but I rate it as, on a scale of 1 to crap, I rate it as crap. I mean, now, again, you could put time and work into it, but having no idea, because I looked at the card, I don't have the card in front of me. They don't tell you what kind of steel it's made of, what two steels it is. Most of these things are like 1095 and 15 and 20 is very common, you know, off the shelf, reasonably priced Damascus. But this, coming from who knows where, this could be pot metal, and, you know, 420. We have no idea what this is. Not a clue. So I would personally not spend the money on this thing at all. I think that this is the kind of knife that attracts people that buy things that look cool rather than they know what they're doing. So I would rate this total crap. Yeah. I mean, this would go beyond the don't like it pile into the aw, hell no pile. But I would love to know what you guys think. Maybe you think I'm being overly harsh and there's something that you would do with it, or, you know, maybe you would just hang it up on a wall where it would be out of arm's reach and people wouldn't get a good look at it. You know, and they'd just be like, oh, that looks cool. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of this month's Survival Box Knife of the Month? Please let me know. And thanks again to Jason. And thanks again to you guys. And remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome. And I appreciate every single one of you. And I'll be back again real soon.